Okay, Captain America, Brave New World. Let's talk about it. This is like any movie, it's not going to be a movie that everyone loves, but I enjoyed this movie. If you are going into this movie expecting Steve Rogers, obviously you're not going to get that. There will be no spoilers in this review. I'm just going to give you my overall thoughts and my enjoyment of the movie. This movie is indicative of something I said about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. No one is going to give, well, I say no one, many fans are not going to give Marvel the benefit of the doubt, which is unfortunate because there are movies that could be enjoyed as they are had Marvel not lost so much favor capital with fans. There's a video, and I want to shout out this YouTube channel. I'm not subscribed. I actually just subscribed. It's a YouTube channel called Night's Watch. And he said something that, and like, so I saw his review before I went to see the movie. I didn't watch the whole review, but he said something that I kept in mind. And I have to say, I agree with him. Now, here's what he said, and I'm going to kind of go further in depth. This feels more like a Falcon movie than it does a Captain America movie. That doesn't make it a bad movie, but I think this movie is going to suffer from living in the shadow of Captain America. That doesn't mean the movie's bad. It's an enjoyable movie, a fine, enjoyable movie. I think what Marvel should have done, they should not have passed the mantle over to Falcon in this movie. Now, I know that happened in the comic books, but I think this is one of those instances where this isn't really the idea, not the movie itself. The idea doesn't translate well for me to the silver screen. And look, the 120-ton elephant in the room. Some people will not like the fact that Sam Wilson is Captain America because of DEI. Now, is that the reason Marvel did this? Possibly that's some of the reason. Possibly the bulk of the reason is it happened in the comic books. It was an easy transition from that to the film, especially after the results of Endgame. But I think what they should have done is they should have allowed Captain America to just fade off into the sunset. Don't necessarily kill him. Like when he went to return the Infinity Stones, they should have just left that open-ended. That would have left them room to later on, right? Because obviously you're not going to get Chris Evans to play Captain America forever. And they could have later on down the road brought Captain America back in using a different actor. And I think fans would have been fine with that. We understand that you're not going to be able to get some of these actors to play these characters indefinitely forever. Some people probably would. Like if I was an actor, I'm going to keep it real with you. As a fan of Batman, if I was an actor and I was white and I got the opportunity to play Batman, I'd be like, yo, I will play this as long as you guys will have me. If you want to make 3 movies in the year, every year for the next 5 years on Batman, I'm game. Just make sure the scripts are good. I would do it. I would absolutely do it. I would be typecasted and I would not care. I would play Batman indefinitely. I love Batman. But what I was getting to is I think this is where Marvel losing that capital with fans, nobody's going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And again, in my opinion, that is unfortunate because this is an enjoyable movie that had it been, this is what I will say, and this is again my opinion. Had this movie, just like Night's Watch said, had this movie been a Falcon movie, I think everybody across the board would have sung its praises unequivocally. There would have been no doubt that this is a good movie. So I heard somebody say something, and this is like I'm kind of going into fan mode in my critique. So somebody said something about the fight scenes, how they felt slow at times, and the choreography felt a little slow. So this is, again, these are my opinions. I may be completely wrong about this, but I think what the directors were going for is highlighting the fact that Sam Wilson did not take the super soldier serum. He didn't. So how could he move as fast as Steve Rogers or Bucky without the super soldier serum? He wouldn't. He's not going to move as fast as them. His reflexes are not going to be as quick. He's obviously going to struggle through some of his fights a little more than they would have. Although the extra tech that he had, I liked it. I liked it. I thought it was perfectly fine. Again, I'm trying to stay away from any spoilers. I'm just giving you my overall raw opinion of the movie as it stands. I think the pacing was fine. Could you tell that there were reshoots? Yeah, you could tell. I won't lie to you like you couldn't tell that there were reshoots. But I tell you what I do appreciate. I appreciate the fact, from what it sounds like, Marvel read the room, and whatever they had initially on the cutting room floor, they said, this is probably not going to do well with fans. And probably if they would have kept it exactly as it was, it might have just outright bombed. Now, after seeing it, I'm not going to tell you this is going to be $1 billion movie. I don't think so. And I'm not sure I believe it only cost them what they say, $200 million to make. I don't know if I believe that. But I think they will make their money off of this movie. I don't think it's going to make gangbusters like some other movies. It's not going to make as much as Deadpool and Wolverine. But this movie, if you're a fan of Marvel movies and you want an enjoyable movie, you will absolutely get that out of Captain America: Brave New World. I think Anthony Mackie is a very fine actor for this role. Are there moments where you think to yourself, probably would have went with a different line or changed the scene up a little bit? Look, I think you're going to have that in any movie, but this movie was not a dumpster fire. Now, you might be thinking maybe we just have the bar set so low for Marvel movies that they don't have far to go to be good. And I think even with that in mind, I still think this would have been a good movie. And again, I think it would have been an even better movie if they just said, look, Captain America has gone off into the distance. We're going to leave that loose in there. And now Falcon has taken the reins, but as Falcon. I think they could have done that and it would have been fine. But acting was good. Harrison Ford, look, as Thunderbolt Ross. Ford still has it. Harrison Ford still has it. And I overheard somebody say he did not disappoint in his role, and I have to agree. The fight scenes with Captain America, I'm going to call him Falcon. He's Falcon. And the Red Hulk, there was a lot. I wondered a lot. This is what I wondered. I'm like, are they going to be able to sell this? Because you're fighting a Hulk. Like, how are you going to take blows from a Hulk? Like, I don't understand how this is going to happen. I believe they actually sold this. Now, there are some scenes where you're like, come on, really? I don't know if this would have been able to happen, but they sold it. They did it in a way where they sold it. Man, I'm trying so hard not to give spoilers as I do this. If you're on the fence, that's what I'll say. If you're on the fence, you don't know if you want to go see this movie, I would say you can, in confidence, go see the movie and enjoy the movie. I love the spy elements. I love the intrigue and the mystery of the things playing out behind the scenes, like somebody else pulling the strings. I like that. I think that's just an enjoyable plot all the way around. If you can go into this and you can understand this clearly, Chris Evans is no longer playing Steve Rogers, Captain America. So you're going to get someone else in Anthony Mackie playing Sam Wilson. But here's what I will say. This is what Marvel did do a good job of selling. You understand when you watch this why Captain America handed the shield to Sam Wilson. You get it. And I think even if you remember the first time Sam Wilson showed up in the movies, when Captain America was jogging, like that whole scene and how they bonded, I think you begin to understand what Steve Rogers saw in Sam Wilson. He saw somebody that just embodied what carrying that shield meant. And as I watched the movie, I said, you know what? I believe this. I understand why Steve Rogers gave him the shield. Now, you're probably going to see reviews that are going to straight trash this movie. These are my opinions of the movie. You may go see the movie and disagree, but objectively speaking, if you can go into the movie and just accept that this is not the other Captain America movies, right? Now, that seems obvious to say, but this is how I view this. The mistake I made going into the Batman is I was like, Pattinson is not Christian Bale. Well, duh, obviously he's not. Christian Bale's not going to play Batman forever, right? Batman forever. But when I went into the movie, I'd say about 20 minutes in, and this took, look, I talked to my youngest son a lot before this movie came out, before the Batman came out, and he said, Dad, you probably should look at some of the other roles Pattinson has played in, because he's actually a pretty good actor and he makes his roles believable. So I did. I looked up some of his roles and I was like, yo, I misunderstood this dude as an actor. And when I was able to go into that movie, separating that movie from the Dark Knight trilogy, I enjoyed it. And I said, yo, it's actually a good movie. Like, some people trashed it. Some, it got praised, but there was a large, or let's say a loud group of people who just straight trashed the movie. I thought it was good. This movie managed to, I'm talking about Captain America Brave New World. It managed to know when to not go too far. And without me saying too much, I think everyone will understand what I'm talking about. There are moments where it could have easily gone off the rails. And I don't know if this had something to do with the reshoots. It might. It seems like they pulled back, like they were going in a direction that just wasn't going to resonate with all the fans. And they pulled back from those moments, and those moments are muted. You will see them. I'm not going to say you won't see them, but they're muted, and they don't detract from the entire movie. You see some scenes, sometimes things happen, and it's like, yeah, I could do without that, but the movie itself is actually enjoyable. I think, and this is again what I think about the movie going experience, I think we have been spoiled with years of just killer movies. Look, not every director is going to be able to give you the same killer experience as the director before him, or writers the same way. Now with Marvel and DC and a lot of these comic book properties, it's a different scenario. There's no reason why any director couldn't just go from a comic book story, adapt that to the silver screen, add some things in between to fill it out, but make it good. There's no reason why that can't be done. A comic book movie should be the easiest give me as far as making money that any director or writer faces. It really should be easy. Grab about 20 comic books, read through those comic books, like go from issue number blah to, 20 issues later, read everything that happened before, and you have your story right there. Just adapt that into a movie form, put all that together, make it work cohesively, make that story into a movie. Don't change anything. Don't swap any characters. Just keep everything as close to the book as possible, and you have a guaranteed hit. I wonder if Hollywood understands this. I really don't think they do. Like, it is very easy when you adapt a comic book to a movie to the silver screen. It is very easy to have a guaranteed hit. Super easy. Do what's in the comic books. There's your money made overnight. Because once someone like me and other geeks say, yo, this is like super accurate to the comic book. It's like verbatim. What happened in the comic is exactly what they did. If that's what you do, man, you've just won people over because you're going to get a wall of praise. And again, I think movies like Captain America Brave New World will suffer from the battle scars that so many fans have from, I mean, just the outright abuse from Marvel of some of its characters over the past couple years. Because they have done some characters dirty on a silver screen, not keeping accurate to the comic books. But this movie, enjoyable. I I hope the movie does well. Now, is it going to do gangbusters? I'm not going to make that prediction. I'm going to say the movie's enjoyable. It's not trash. It's not trash. Which, again, maybe the bar is just so low that that's a high mark for us. But I think you can go into this movie, spend your hard-earned money, and actually leave the movie theater saying, you know what? I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the fight scenes, the special effects. I'll tell you what. I will tell you what. Now, this got me hype. This got me hype. The scenes. Oh, how can I do? There's an aerial battle. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to explain what exactly happened. There's an aerial battle, and Sam Wilson, Captain America, does some things that I was like, yo, that was dope. That was dope. Like, it was dope to see on the screen. And this is what the Night's Watch said. I think he said the same thing. Like, when you saw those things, it's like, yo, Falcon is actually a dope character. Why didn't they just give Falcon his own movie? And, you know, taking the reins from Captain America, taking charge, being that face of the Avengers, Falcon leading the Avengers. Can you imagine? Like, imagine if there was no Falcon, right? Like, imagine if Captain America gave the shield to Thor. I'm just throwing that out there, being silly, and said, okay, you're Captain America now. It's like, no, you wouldn't do that. You would just say, okay, Thor, you're now leading the Avengers. And it would be that simple. And I don't know why they didn't just do that. I think that's what should have happened. Again, that might be just a nitpicky thing. But with that said, I enjoyed the movie. I do not regret spending my money to go see Captain America Brave New World. It was enjoyable.